So I'm starting with a couple of things here. First, I have cinnamon sugar, which is just 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Just like it sounds like, you're gonna mix that together. And this is going in the middle of our crumb bars. Now that's mixed. Now we'll make our streusel topping. So this is a half cup of all-purpose flour, a half cup of brown sugar, a half stick or 4 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter cubed into little pieces, and then a half teaspoon of kosher salt. So now to cut this together, you can use your hands or a pastry cutter if you want. You just start mixing the flour into the butter. It helps that this is cold because you do want to keep some little chunks of butter in there, and you're just making it kind of like a sandy consistency. It's kind of one of those times when it's okay to play with your food. All right, I think this is looking pretty good. It's kind of like wet sand, it's clumping together. It seems like everything's pretty combined here. So now that this is all done, I'm gonna put this in the fridge and we can start making the batter. So I've got all my ingredients here for the batter, and I'm starting with my dry ingredients. This is 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To that I'm adding a half teaspoon of cream of tartar. This is what gives it that classic snickerdoodle tang. A 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. A half teaspoon of kosher salt. Give this a quick whisk to combine. I love that you don't need an electric mixer for this one. You can just use a whisk and a spatula. So here I have 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter, which is melted. To that I'm adding a half cup of brown sugar, a half cup of granulated sugar, and 3 eggs. 2 and 3. So now I will start whisking this together. You want to make sure that your butter isn't still really hot for melting it, otherwise it will curdle your eggs. Now that that's mixed, super simple, we're just folding our dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. So this is a pretty loose batter, it's not really like a dough. So you're just looking for everything to be just combined. All right, that looks good. So now I'm gonna pour this into my prepared pan. This is an 8-inch pan that has been brushed with butter, put some parchment in, and then brushed it with butter again. So we'll take half of this mixture and pour it in the bottom. I'm gonna spread it out to the edges, make it a nice even layer, and then sprinkle with half of our cinnamon sugar. This is gonna give us kind of a stripe of cinnamon sugar through the middle of the bars. All right, that looks good. Now kind of dollop the rest of our batter on so that it doesn't disrupt the sugar too much. These kind of bake up a little bit like a coffee cake, but they taste like snickerdoodles. They are really delicious. Now I'll just smooth this over the top. All right, looks good. And now I'm ready to get my streusel topping out of the fridge to sprinkle over the top. So last step before I put these in the oven, I have my cold streusel topping and I'm gonna sprinkle it right over the top. As you can see, since it's cold, there are kind of these big chunks of streusel, which is always fun. And then you have kind of the rest of the little crumbles, which help give it a lot of texture on top. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. We have lots more fun recipes for cakes, cookies, and more, all on MarthaStewart.com too. Tons of streusel topping, it looks so good. Last thing, we just sprinkle the rest of the cinnamon sugar right over the top for more of that delicious snickerdoodle flavor. All right, that looks great. This is going into my 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Here they are. The snickerdoodle bars are ready. They have cooled completely, and I am ready to dive right in. Let's see how that cinnamon swirl looks. I think I'm gonna maybe do them in thirds this way, and again in thirds the other way. The great thing about these is that they're really sturdy, so they travel well. They would be great for a bake sale, or maybe if you have to bring them to a friend's house. Look at that, it looks so good. We have the cinnamon swirl through the middle. We have the streusel crunchy topping on top. It's your favorite Snickerdoodle flavor in a new form. These are Snickerdoodle crumb bars. If you make these at home, please let me know. I'd love to hear in the comments. But in the meantime, I think I'm gonna eat one of these right now. Oh, that looks so good. And make a pretty good breakfast too. Enjoy.